Most of the lakes you find, as per the NRSC data also, most of the lakes are almost about 60 to 70%, encroached. Study reveals very alarming thing is that more than the 60% of the land is encroached in the last 44 years.
We are joined by HYDRA Chief A.V. Ranganathan Garu. Sir, your initiative by the new government, headed by you as a chief in this HYDRA, has got a lot of response from public. Tell us, what exactly is HYDRA, Hyderabad Disaster Response Asset Management and Monitoring System? How does it work, sir?
Yeah, this is HYDRA is an acronym, which means, when you expand it, it is Hyderabad Disaster Response and Asset Protection Agency. Now, you see two aspects in this. One is disaster response and the other one is asset protection. Both are interlinked in the sense that, even for normal rainfall, like you get about 3-4 inches of rainfall also, you find many of the roads to be flooded and low-lying areas to be flooded. Not only in Hyderabad, almost in many of the cities in our country, right? The reason being, the lakes, which are actually the, the rain, the precipitation, it goes as a surface runoff because, you don't have any ground to percolate, and it goes and it gets into the lake. Now, the lakes, most of the lakes you find, as per the NRSC data also, most of the lakes are almost about 60 to 70%, encroached. So the area to hold water has come down drastically. And the reason, and this effect is in the form of flooding, and you find a lot of water loggings on the road, and the whole city goes for a toss on whenever you have a, even a small amount of rainfall too. So this has actually prompted for the government to think of this, creating of an institution called HYDRA. And HYDRA is created by an executive order. It's by a government order. And we had earlier an institution called EVDM in Hyderabad under GHMC. That is the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. We had an institution called Enforcement, Vigilance and Disaster Management Agency that was part of the GHMC. But now the government, they have come out with an initiative in the sense that they have made it a separate entity and it's a separate department, HYDRA. And it is brought out of the purview of GHMC. And you are an independent agency, and your budgeting and staffing, everything is independent, and you act as a check on the, the activities of GHMC and HMDA and other civic agencies actually. So in the sense that this checking of the unauthorized constructions all along the lakes and the nalas and, the government lands and the parks, this will have a salutary effect on the disaster management too, in the sense that if you stop further encroachment of the lakes, naturally you can definitely safeguard the city from being further flooded.
So basically, the legal actions that are being taken, demolition, be it bulldozer action, this has no proper legislative backup, or the legality of your agency is being questioned by the politicians. What do you have to say?
See, there is an executive order, that's GO-MS 99, through which this institution has been constituted. And the GO clearly specifies that HYDRA, in coordination with other agencies like the GHMC and with the town planning and with the revenue and various other wings, irrigation and other wings, they will have to clear the lakes encroachments. So the GO is also very clear. But as you rightly said, it requires a statutory backing, and the government is seriously thinking of creating a, legality, to bring it within the purview of a, law. HYDRA, the very statutory basis for this institution is definitely going to come shortly.
So how many lakes fall under your limits, and how many encroachments have been till date surveyed, and how many have been demolished? See, we are just hardly 1 month old, and the staffing also is yet to actually take off, in the sense that the financial clearance has come and the cabinet is we are expecting that this this approvals and all will come shortly. We have about 185 lakes in GHMC area. But our purview is up to the outer ring road. That is, we have almost like about 2,050 square kilometers of area, which is under our control, under HYDRA, for to monitor this asset protection and the disaster response. And now the number of lakes in this up to ORR is about almost 600. And we are trying to collect the database of all this, and we don't have a, as it is, since we have hardly a month old and we are yet to get the staff and all, we are working with various other agencies like the National Remote Sensing Agency and other departments too, and trying to collect the information as to what is the extent of encroachments.
But yes, NRSC has done a study, National Remote Sensing Agency, they have done a study. And in that study, they have done a study of about 56 lakes. And their study reveals very, very alarming thing is that more than the 60% of the land is encroached in the last 44 years. And the pace with which the encroachment is taking place also is quite high. And probably in the next 10 years or so, you'll not find any lakes in Hyderabad. They'll be totally vanished from the, the topography of Hyderabad itself.
So in this purview, what we have seen that certain demolitions have taken place in this 1 month. Tell us about, we've seen the demolition of big wigs only, be it politicians directly or indirectly involved. Give us some names whose properties are directly or indirectly involved and being demolished.
See, irrespective of the party, be it in the ruling party or in the opposition, we are after the, people who are promoting, who are encouraging such encroachments. And the list. In fact, I have submitted the list also yesterday to the government, and that has come out also. And I don't think I should name it once again, but we have already submitted, and it is very much in the public domain.
So permissions that were given by the government officials itself for under these encroachments is what being said, be it the full tank level or the buffer zones. So will any action be taken against these officials, government officials, against the politicians involved? Any action against them?
Yes, certainly. We need to take action against the officers who have given permissions for unauthorized structures, trying to authorize the unauthorized structures, giving a legal facade to such structures and trying to legalize them. Yes, definitely those officers who are responsible will be booked and prosecuted as per law.
We are hearing several praises from the people after the initiative has begun, because people are expecting a less flooding or maybe no flooding in the main areas of the city or densely populated areas. But questions of partiality also being raised by politicians. What do you have to say to that?
No, that's it. We are very much aware of the, these issues, and that is the reason why we are trying to, irrespective of the party. As you see the list, we have given we have submitted a report to the government also yesterday. About more than 18 encroachments we have removed in 30 days. And out of which, you have many of the ruling party only. Many are from the ruling party. And even from the opposition also, there are quite few. And from, big, film stars and, even from industries also, we have removed many of them. So we are not after any, poorer sections or lower middle class or the middle class people who have bought their properties way back in, say, about 10 years back or 5 years back without knowing whether it is in the FTN or not. But we are now targeting only, the big wigs, the so-called big wigs who have manipulated law and who have manipulated or, managed the systems, and, they have their resorts and, they have their, establishments all along the lakes and along the nalas. Yeah.
So what message would you like to give to the encroachers, to the people of the city?
It is high time that we stop, we stop these encroachments. And the initiatives which you have done in the last 1 month, they should act as a deterrence for further encroachments. And incidentally, I find it to be very, very encouraging from the public side. In fact, public are coming forward and they are taking rallies in support of HYDRA. And whenever I go for any, field visit, I find hundreds of people gathering there, especially from the youth and the women folk, and many of them. They come and they, they take me around and showing that. And it's a very good thing that these lakes, parks, grounds, government lands and all, they are public property, and it is for the public to protect that. And as from government side, we will be facilitating them. We will be definitely moving hand in hand with public. But ultimately, the public, the local public, in a colony or if it is a park, the local colony has to take initiative. If the lake it is there, the local colony has to take an initiative in protecting it. So we'll move, we'll work along with the public and ensure that this particular public support which we have got will continue in the long run too.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. So this was Chief of Disaster HYDRA, Hyderabad Disaster Response and Assets Monitoring and Protection Agency that has been started by the Congress government. Camera